Hello everybody, welcome to the Redmen TV. This is your uncensored match build-up ahead of Liverpool taking on LASK over in Austria. My name is Dan Clubb. I'm joined by the wonderful Chloe Bloxham and the equally, if not more so wonderful, Chris Pajak is over there on the board. He's got his predicted team up on the board, as you can see. Catch that if you can before we go. But before we do get into the team stuff and all that other good preview stuff, and indeed the actual team news, hear from the manager as he spoke ahead of the trip to Austria.
We are here to compete, not to give opportunities. For nobody. Not ours and not for them.
Wir sind hier, um im Wettbewerb zu gewinnen und das...
Nicht zu gewinnen. Compete.
Zum Wettbewerb teilzunehmen, ja.
Yeah, it's a different thing. You want to win, but it's not about that. You want to fight.
Pass out from the back.
Yeah, so Jurgen Klopp is not willing to give any opportunities. It's not a charity. He is going there for the win. Now, we had a few comments before we get ball rolling with ourselves. Nicholas Haycraft says he's very interested in today's lineup. Can't wait for the game. Yeah, I think the lineup is a really interesting one, actually. I don't think anybody's quite sure just how strong we're going to be. Firefly asks, will Gravenberch start today? I personally would love to see Gravenberch starting today. Loads more asking about the lineup. So, Chloe, I'll come to you first on it. How strong are you expecting us to be? Because I think a lot of people saw Europa League and think, okay, chance for the kids, but Jurgen Klopp there saying that it's not going to be a case of, oh, let's just make 11 changes and whatever. I think he's going to want to get qualified nice and early, isn't he? So are you expecting us to be quite strong?
Yeah, I'm expecting us to be a bit stronger than anyone would have thought. At the start, I think we were all very much like, yeah, play the kids. We'd love to see the likes of Doak, Stefan Bajcetic. But we do have quite a decent squad now. There is still a couple of players missing in the likes of Thiago and Trent Alexander-Arnold. But there's enough rotation there. There's enough squad depth there. And it seems like, from what Jurgen Klopp said in his presser yesterday, he's taken it full throttle. He wants to win absolutely everything that is possible to win this season. And to do that, we need to get in some sort of rhythm. And look, Liverpool love playing 3 games a week. They love bouncing into games back to back to back. And the way to do that is you feed off winning streaks is what comes from that. And if he needs to put out a strong side to do that, then he will do. It is a bit surprising because I think there would be, I'm still expecting maybe 4 or 5 changes. Yeah. But truthfully, I'm probably 100% incorrect.
Well, yeah, I think we all could be, to be honest with you. I think we've all probably got different lineups for this one when predicting, because it is very difficult to sort of make a call on it. With it being the first Europa League game, we don't quite know how he's going to attack it or how approach it. And obviously we've got a game on Sunday as well, so makes it even more difficult to predict. Loads of people in the chat talking about Ben Doak. Step TM says Doak starting would be perfect. Craig Flynn echoes that with Doak to start, and Quadbod says the most important lineup is Chloe, Dan and Pajak. Thank you very much, my mate. That's lovely, isn't it? But more Al Ago, one of our members on YouTube, sort of echoes what you were saying, Chloe, in terms of Klopp really wants to win everything. This will obviously complete the set for Jurgen Klopp, and I think rhythm is important when we're talking about lineups and minutes into legs, and a couple of people coming back from injuries, a couple of people might need some minutes. Chris, you've obviously given your sort of thoughts on the board there as what you think the lineup would be. Talk us through why you've gone with what you've gone with.
Okay, I think Kelleher, to be honest with you, I think we had a conversation about 2 weeks ago about Kelleher and Alisson, and I've kind of gone with the wisdom of the masses or the wisdom of the crowd on this, because I'd be happy with Kelleher or Alisson, to be honest with you. I've gone Kelleher because that's the way that it's trending. Timmercast to come in for Andy Robertson makes perfect sense for obvious reasons. He's not really got any minutes so far this season. Virgil van Dijk's been fit and he should be able to play a couple of games back to back, no problem whatsoever. He goes in. Question marks for me over whether it's Kanate or Matip. Personally, wouldn't expect to see Quansah in this one because they both kind of play left-sided centre-half, Van Dijk and Quansah. Kanate I've gone with because he needs minutes, and then you protect Matip. But equally, if you were to go, Chris, you got to protect Kanate. Totally understand, it was a guess. Joe Gomez because he's the only fit right back at the football club. But Bajcetic over Enzo, because he's been on the bench a few times now and I want to see him get minutes. I want to see him start to build that fitness level up. Gravenberch because he's the new signing. Javier because he deserves a start after his forced own goal at the weekend. Diaz for me, just because he plays left wing. Let's see. Okay, Kelleher in goal, sound. Bajcetic, Kanate, Van Dijk, Chimikas, Gomez. Endo is in the starting lineup.
Endo, Gravenberch and Elliott. Ben Doak, get 2 hours.
Is
Luis
right.
Diaz and Darwin Núñez.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm actually not that many players out. But who am I missing here?
So your bench wise,
is Bacetti's playing the right back?
I think Bacetti's is our
might
right
be
back.
playing the inverted right back. This is really interesting.
Paul Machin will be over the moon
The
with
thing
that.
with this one is, for me, right, let me go through it now. So we got Kelleher, we got Timakash, Van Dijk, Konate, Bacettic, Endo, Gravenberch, Elliott, Diaz, Nunes, Doak. This has been spoken about for quite some time now, about potentially coming in and making that sort of 3-box-3 formation. And I've kind of always thought, yeah, okay, sound like, you know what I mean? But I've never really truly been all in on it because I've just not seen how he is defensively. Obviously, we know he plays centre-back for the under-21s for Spain and all that type of stuff, but it is interesting to see Joe Gomez do it last time out at the start of the game, and then Bacettic coming in to probably do it in this game. He's got the skill set, certainly. Does he have the experience to do it? We're going to find out. We're going to have to build that experience in. That is a really exciting lineup. Obviously, Ben Doak being on that right-hand side, massively exciting to see him. Diaz and Nunes. Do you know what? I don't think I've actually done too badly there. I mean, what was it, 3 players wrong? That's not too bad, to be honest. I'm quite pleased with that.
No, you've
it's
done well.
Exciting though.
That bench is scary, by the way.
Yeah, the
bench is scary.
The bench, Chloe, you're right. And a lot of people have been talking about our strength in depth, and it's been a big thing this season already in the Premier League. We've seen a few comebacks and sort of winning games late in the day, and obviously we know with the additional time that having a strong bench is actually serving us really well. And you mentioned the bench there, really strong, but Chris sort of alluded to it, that right-hand side. And I think the reason Chris wasn't spot on with his predicted lineup is the fact that Bacettic is playing right back and Ben Doak is right wing. Like, those are two that you wouldn't really have expected. Certainly Bacettic, that's a bit of a mad call, but one I'm all for.
I absolutely love it. I think we all know that he's got the skill set to do that inverted right back situation. We all saw Joe Gomez try and do it against Wolves. In that first half, he extremely struggled. In the second half, we went to a natural 4-3-3 and we got much better. I think Stefan Bacettic is much better on the ball. Joe Gomez is certainly still great on the ball, but Bacettic just looks like he swags about. He just floats across a football pitch. So I'm really excited to see him there. I hope that Ben Doak can help him out. Obviously, having 2 youngsters on one side defensively might be a bit worried. They're going to have to be really focused. They're going to have to track back, put all the legs into the game. But that right-hand side is scary. Excited to see what Bacettic has in store. And I think we all wanted Ben Doak to start over Mo Salah today. That is what everyone wanted. And I think we all thought, but Mo is very competitive, and if Mo wants to start, Mo will start. Well, we get to see all about Ben Doak again, and I adore that footballer. Can't wait to see him in game, and hopefully, you know, he bags a couple of goals.
Oh, I'm here for it, like fully here for it. I'm all in on Ben Doak, fully invested in that kid and his future. Chris, I'll come to you. First and foremost, I had Tracy in our Discord saying that she is also here for that lineup. I think I agree with you. But Chris, a few people suggesting Endo could be the right back, and the way it's lined up on the Twitter would definitely suggest Bacettic. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think Endo could be the man to drop in?
No, but what I will say is, right, when we move to that sort of 3-box-3 formation, what I find quite interesting is, obviously we know that he's got experience at centre-half. We know he's got tons of experience at centre-half. What normally happens is he'll move in here, he'll move out. Then the problem I think sometimes with Trent and Konate, I think Trent and Matip did it much better, is that the transition to a back four could work like that if the game state allows it to, because he's comfortable in that situation. Equally, it could work like that. You know, you wouldn't want it to work like that, but that and then sort it out when you've got time is not a bad way of doing it, because he's comfortable in that situation. We know Konate is comfortable out there because we've seen it time and time again. So in terms of skill set, I think Bacettic is better for it. I think his legs are a bit better than Endo's as well. Both not blessed with searing pace, but certainly I think Bacetic's pace on the transition will be better than Endo's. And to be fair to Liverpool, their lineup generally is in order. So because they put Bacettic there, I think Bacettic is the right back. Yeah. And you can always tell who's the centre forward by who's the last name on the team sheet. And Nunes this time is the centre forward. Sometimes you've had it where you've got Jota or a Gakpo and you're never quite sure who it is. It's always the last name on the team sheet. So I think they've given it away that it is Bacettic. It makes perfect sense. He's got the legs. He's got the ability to drop into the centre half in transition if you need him to. Got the ability to drop back into right back. His range of passing is brilliant. It's much better than Joe Gomez, and I rate Joe Gomez on the ball as well as like Chloe does. But that's really exciting, and as Chloe sort of alluded to there, these 3 youngsters on this side of the pitch is probably where, if we're going to have problems, and I don't think we will do, that would be the area that you'd sort of pinpoint, because a Diaz and Tsimikas is just much more experienced than a Doak and a Bajcetic. But the one thing is, this is LASK, and we should be able to beat them. So we get a really good idea of whether Bajcetic is going to be able to do this role at this level. And then we'll see whether he's able to take that into a Premier League game, for example. But really great signs. And I think the other thing is, because we've not seen loads of Stefan Bajcetic, he could have been really working on this in training for 2 to 3 weeks now, knowing that this game was coming up and this opportunity was going to be there. The same could be said for Ben Doak. They could have been working on transition of plays between them for the last 2 to 3 weeks, knowing with a bit of advance warning that, look, if we're fit, you're fit, this is our plan for the Europa League. And that could mean that they actually have a little bit more of a familiarity in play because of what's going on behind closed doors. It'd be interesting to ever find out if that was the case.
Yeah, absolutely, it will. Yeah, and we've had a super chat from Hawks, $25. Thank you so much. He says, "I love this side, exciting from back to front. No trend, so it's time for Bajcetic with his legs and use of the ball. Come on." Yeah, absolutely agree with that as well. I think the Bajcetic angle is one, like you say, we've all kind of alluded to it possibly being a thing, and tonight we're going to see it for the first time. That's really, really exciting. I'll stick with you, Chloe, for this one. Obviously, Gravenberch is going to get his full debut in there, and we've spoken a lot about him. What are you expecting to see from him in this game? Because he's taken over from a lad essentially who's been absolutely boss from start to finish since he's come in. Szoboszlai, and obviously McAllister's has been in there too. Curtis Jones has done a really good job in there as well. So this is an opportunity for Gravenberch, not just to make his debut for Liverpool, but he needs to make a claim, doesn't he, straight away? Because let's be honest, he's joined Liverpool because he wasn't playing at Bayern Munich. He's going to want to come in and play games. So nights like tonight are massive for him.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to dominate the game, to be honest. Out of those three in midfield, I'm most excited about Gravenberch because it's the unknown with him. I mean, Endo, we know he's been labelled the destroyer, the one who wins the ball back. We haven't yet seen that. Hopefully we will see that tonight, and hopefully he won't have to do much of it because we'll have the ball. Harvey Elliott, you know what you're going to get from him. Such a promising young lad who I think's boss. Gravenberch, when he came on against Wolves, he was on the side closest to the away fans, and I thought he looked boss already. I expect him to glide across a football pitch, be boss in transition. We know that number 8 is very important in this box midfield, but his physicality, the way he can dominate a ball, I'm expecting him to be the skill set of the entire midfield. I'm expecting to come out of this game and think, my word, what have we managed to get for 40 million? If it doesn't end up like that, you know, it's his first game, so I'll let him off. But I am expecting him to absolutely roll Royce this game.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we're all here for that. Chris, obviously we've kind of been a little bit taken aback by the lineup, some surprise selections in there, but that's very exciting, isn't it? When you look at that team, the starting 11 to begin with, what excites you the most? What angle of this lineup, what who are you looking at and going, do you know what, I can't wait to see what he does there?
Ben Doak is the one, isn't it? Because we've all been so sort of enamoured with what he's been able to do in a Liverpool shirt when he's got those minutes. But I think as a front three, Diaz, Nunes and Doak really excites me. So if I can just say it's the front three instead, that would be good. One of the things is, I think with Ben so far is he's like unstoppable at dribbles. He just seems to be a drop the shoulder kind of guy. It's his body movement kind of does the fella that he's up against. He's so rapid over the first 5-6 yards that he's sort of past you before you even notice it. If you got him on one side doing it, Diaz on the other side doing it, Darwin Núñez could have an absolute field day if Ben Doak's got, you know, the vision to pick him out in this game, because I'm envisioning him getting to the byline and putting it back across for Darwin Núñez, and Darwin Núñez just slotting something. Equally with Diaz, you know, we know how exciting he is and how he loves to get to that byline. So that front three for me is where I'm sort of like looking at them going, oh, yes, please. Can't wait to see this. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I'll stick with you, Chris, because Quadbod asked in our Discord, do we line up as a 3-4-3 to match up to their wing backs? Because they do play with wing backs. Do you think that's something we'll have in mind, or will this be Liverpool, we're going to play off?
I can't see it, only because if you're doing the 3-4-3 thing, you're asking Bajcetic to be a centre-half or Tsimikas to be a centre-half. Now, I naturally, I think Tsimikas would be better, but where does that leave Endo? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I suppose it could work a little bit like that. I suppose it kind of does work a little bit like that, but I think what we've got to remember is just like when your game's at Anfield and you've got that big sign that says this is Anfield, you know, that's there to put the fear of God into the opposition. Liverpool will be putting the fear of God into the opposition tonight, even though it's not a home game. This is Liverpool Football Club. You do not match up to LASK. You dominate, you do your game, and you beat the living shit out of them.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely seconding that one. We had another super chat from Jordan Stevenson. I'll just bring this up now. To play a B team and risk Konate is a risk, but he's excited to see Doak and Diaz run their wing backs ragged. Chloe, I asked Chris what he's most excited for. What are you most excited about in that lineup?
I mean, it's obviously that front three. It's got to be. I didn't expect Nunes or Diaz to start because they're the two that I would have wanted on the team sheet alongside Mo Salah against West Ham this weekend. They were unbelievable against Wolves. They really changed the game in that game. But I'm so excited to see them against LASK. And look, Darwin Nunes, if he can get a hat-trick here, and look, we're all sat here talking about us battering LASK, that might not go to plan. But if the Liverpool that we all know shows up, then it should. And to get them a bit of confidence, get them back. They've not played too much. It's great to see, and obviously Ben Doak is just I can't wait to keep seeing him. Like it's mad to think that this young lad, you know, he's getting a new contract already, and we're all made up about it. Now he's starting in the Europa League, even Mo Salah, by the way. And I really hope he takes his chance. I'm also excited to see Gravenberch, because it's Gravenberch. We don't know what he's about yet, and I think we've bought an unbelievable footballer, but he now has to go and back that up, and he's got a chance tonight to go and dominate in that midfield.
No, he definitely does, yeah, but for me it is definitely Ben Doak. I just can't wait to watch more of him play footy. Ellis Day, one of our Cult Hero members here on YouTube, member for 28 months, thank you so much. Stefan, as the inverted mid-roll was a little unexpected, but he's such a quality young player, I reckon he could smash it, and Ben Doak getting his first European start is exciting me. Yeah, me and you both, mate, absolutely. I'm going to come back to you in a minute, Chloe, for a score prediction, so get thinking on that one. Before I do, Chris, we've all been sort of waxing lyrical about the starting lineup and how excited we are to see it. There's a very strong bench there as well. If you want to quickly run through it, and if you want to sort of, we've spoken a lot this season about, like I say, how we start and end games and the difference in the side. How do you see it panning out in terms of change? Do you see any lads on that bench that will definitely need or want minutes in this game?
Absolutely. Obviously, we haven't got a Jaros for the other backup goalkeeper, but it's Alisson, Matip, Quansah, Robertson, Salah, McAllister, Jones, Szoboszlai, Gakpo, Jota and Joe Gomez on there as well. I think that's all of them. I think the interesting one for me would be Matip and Konate. I'd kind of expect to see a little bit of a 60-30 in terms of minutes, maybe between them. You know, obviously Konate's just coming back into it. You don't maybe want to give him a 90 minutes if he's going to play at the weekend. Although we have seen Jürgen he's happy with Matip, and he's good. He's cool with just playing Matip at the weekend. But I think if Konate comes off, then it means he might be in line for a start against West Ham. And the physicality of Antonio, let's not forget, is probably better suited to someone like a Konate. I don't imagine we'd see Robertson today. I don't imagine we'd see Quansah today. Salah, I think we will possibly see at some point. McAllister, I'd give him a few minutes just to say sorry for the weekend and taking you off at half time, mate. I know Jürgen had his hand on his knee and was like consoling him that way, like, but getting him some minutes in an advanced position might be really cool for McAllister, and I'd be excited to see that as well. Kurt Jones, I think we know all about him, and Szoboszlai, our standard chartered player of the month. It might be that Gravenberch can't do 90 because of I don't know, but you might see him there. I would expect to see a full 5 changes at some point, certainly, and whatever we do is going to be strong changes, I think, because that's about the best bench I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think it might be. And it's just sort of testament to the squad that we've built over the summer. When we're at full strength, it's certainly a sight to behold.
No tent even there, like, you know what I mean?
Mental, isn't it? Yeah, you add them two, so that I'm not quite sure how you do it. Like, obviously, Jaros probably drops out, doesn't he? But other than that, it's ridiculous. And that's no Bobby Clark as well, who I thought would be featuring in some of these games, and he might well do, Ben Jones, another one of our members, another cult hero, says, honestly, I'm buzzing to see Endo, Grav, Doak, badge as well. Love these experiments in the team. I can't wait for this to come on. Liverpool up the Reds. I can see Nunes scoring and Sobbo with a rocket. Yeah, 100%. Please get your score predictions in as I go to Chloe and Chris for theirs. We already had one from Tajon Harding. Says 4-0 to Liverpool. Yeah, we'll take that right away. We're not getting overly excited, are we, everyone? Chloe, I'll come to you next. What are you saying?
3-0 and a Benzo goal.
Love all that. Chris?
I've got a sneaking suspicion that Liverpool will play down to their opposition tonight. After all the hype, I've just got a feeling we're going to make it hard work because we're Liverpool Football Club and that's what we tend to do. I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to go 6-0 Liverpool.
That was the biggest obvious. It was always coming. The big build-up, that was always coming. It's Zizo says 2-0 Liverpool as well. I think it's a difficult one. You kind of alluded to it there, Chris, although you were obviously taking the piss. We shouldn't underestimate who we're up against.
We do play down to opposition.
Yeah, no, I know that side of it. Yeah, I agree with that. But these were the second seeds in the group. This, on paper, actually, Chloe, should be our toughest game of the group, to be honest with you, because these are second seeds away from home, first game. These are going to want to come out of this group with us, like not in top spot, that's ours, but they're going to want to qualify. They're going to want to qualify with us, so it should be a difficult night, shouldn't it? I mean, you've already given your score prediction, but just generally on your feelings on the group, and I suppose in the Europa League group as a whole, on tonight and the group, what straightforward for Liverpool, or a bit more difficult than that?
You can't hope that it's straightforward. It's Europa League and Liverpool should not be in the Europa League. We are because of how crap we were last season and we deserve to be in Europa League. But the players on the pitch should not. You're talking about Virgil van Dijk, one of the best centre-halves I've ever seen in my life. Mo Salah, one of the greatest right-wingers in Premier League history. These are players who should be absolutely raging at the fact that they've let themselves down and that they're in the Europa League. And hopefully we see the need to want it. Jurgen's obviously got that trophy set in mind that he wants to win. Do it for Jurgen, and also get some silverware under your belt. It's boss away days. In the end, it's Dublin. Let's go to there, have a massive party. But yeah, I know what it shouldn't be as easy as we're probably all thinking it is, especially with the fact that this team is a team that hasn't played together. You've got Gravenberch, who we don't know much of. Endo, we still don't know much of. Your right hand side, literally 3 youngsters. So I can understand it, but Liverpool just should have too many senior players on that pitch. Too many players off the bench, by the way, who can really come on and grab a game and turn it on dead. So I am going to back the lads tonight. I'm hoping for an absolute, slaughtering house from Liverpool.
Yeah, I think most of the chat is as well looking at some of these. Virgil says 5-1, Josh Burrows 3-0, JD 4-1, 6-0 from LFC Marlou. Isla Rose says 3-0. We got 6-2 from Richard Pidwell, 7-0 from Duncan. I mean, go on.
We are. Well, you're the only one who's pretty much matched what we did against Manchester United, and that was in the Prem. So maybe 9.
But we've had 11. I never brought the 11 up.
Could we have a little bit of what happened with Rangers, where Mo comes off the bench and scores a hat-trick?
Yeah, and Jota with a hat-trick of assists, wasn't it, in 2 minutes or something insane? I mean, are we disrespecting LASK by any chance? Possibly?
We probably are, but that's our job. That's what we're supposed to do.
Shit. Craig Flynn says 3-0. Press Salah says 4-0. Dana Jacks 3-1. Daniel Buttery agreed with you, Chris. There's the 11-0. I knew we'd seen 11-0. Mohammed, there it is, 11-0. Liam Coakley says 5
Is that
goals.
11 different goal scorers as well?
Easy peasy. Yeah, is Alisson going to get one off the bench or something?
Kelleher pen.
He's good at pens, actually. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, there's loads of positivity in the chat when it comes to score predictions. Not more so than Ashley Pascoe, who says 14-0 easy. I say that as Irfan Khan pops in with 18-0. Okay, I'm going to stop that. Chloe, I've had your final thoughts ahead of the game. Chris, I come to you next for yours, my mate.
Liverpool are going to dominate in this game. Liverpool are going to put the foot on the ball. We're going to be crowing about Stefan Bajcetic and Ben Doak until the weekend after the incredible performances that both youngsters put in. But on a serious note, I'm actually really excited to see a little bit of Endo here and find out who he is as well. Because obviously we've only really seen him when we've been down to 10 men and stuff like that. Actually seeing him in a full 90 minutes at the base of a midfield with somebody going alongside him, I'm really excited to see what type of a player we've got there, because I think the less often he plays, or when he doesn't play, you sort of disrespect him more and more. So it's good that Jurgen's put his faith in him tonight, and we get to see what Endo's about as well.
Yeah, 100%. There's loads of interesting factors to this.
Got to me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Coming straight back in. There's loads of interesting factors. That's what makes Europa League so exciting as well. We will end, though, there. I'll give my score prediction before we do so, but Virgil says, let's not disrespect LASK. It's going to be 8-0. Nicely done. Anyway, yeah, I'll give I think Liverpool win this 3-1, I'm going to say. Yeah, sorry to put a dampener on everyone's particularly high spirits. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. As ever, Chloe, thank you. Chris on the board, thank you. Chloe and Chris will be back for the watch along about 15 minutes before kickoff, so make sure you return because it will be boss. It always is. Once again, thank you, and up the Ben Doak Reds. Take it easy.
Thank you so very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Red Men content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on redmenplus.com today.